What's up, everybody? Paul here from the Hoops Crew, and it's Nuff of the Week for one final time this year. Of course, we as Cats fans are still smarting a little bit off the back of a grand final loss. We're all hurting, and that manifests in different ways. Some of us drink, some of us cry, some of us shut ourselves away for a bit, some of us put a mask on and just repress all of the horrible feelings that we might be feeling. Some of us gather for a 4-hour post-game live and debrief and basically have group therapy to get ourselves through it. And some make incredibly stupid remarks online that need to be ripped into. And I don't love doing this because we don't need to turn on our own, I suppose, when we lose a grand final. There's already enough stupidity going on and horrible comments being made from just some of the real pits of society online at the moment, targeting Geelong supporters or whatever, or Geelong players or whatever it happens to be. Like, there's enough of this, like some of the genuinely awful stuff going on. But when you get behavior like what we've seen from Catman recently, we as Geelong supporters, I think, also need to call it out, because this is a person who kind of, whether we like it or not, represents the club. He's a very public figure, very well known. And when idiotic comments are made that don't represent really anyone from the Geelong supporting community, you need to call it out. And so, Catman, Troy, I believe your name is, if you're watching this, with respect, please shut up. We'll talk about what Troy's done right after this word from our sponsor, Cyril Cook Florist.
The Hoops Crew Media Network is proudly sponsored by Cyril Cook Florist. Visit them at shop 1211 Leather Street in Breakwater. Phone them on 035 222 2244 or visit their website at www.cyrilcookflorist.com.au and use the offer code GOCATS in the voucher field at checkout to get 20% off your next online purchase.
Thank you, Cyril Cook Florist, as always, for your ongoing support of the Hoops Crew and all we get up to. Now, let's get into the questionable footage here. This is Catman. I'm sure many of you have seen the clip. We are going to watch this in its entirety. We're going to suffer through this in its entirety, and we'll dissect it right afterwards. So let's do it. God help us all.
What do you think that was? That is just absolutely disgraceful. I am a sovereign citizen, and I refuse to accept that loss in that manner. I'm a sovereign citizen, so therefore we don't play by the current rules. We won a qualifying final.
You're a sovereign citizen, mate. Shut up.
From second place on the ladder. That, to me, means we have a credit. So we went into the prelim. We went into the prelim with credit. Won the prelim, still got a credit. Get to the grand final, and look what happens. Now, I don't accept this, and nor should any.
Troy, I play video games for a living. I get paid to write and talk about video games. This is not a fucking video game, mate. We don't just get a credit for a retry when we fail. When you lose, you lose. When you get knocked out in a knockout final, that's it. I don't care if we beat, it hurts. I'm disappointed. We shouldn't have lost. We should have done better put up more of a fight than what we did in the last quarter and change. But we lost the game. Stop being a dickhead.
Geelong supporter, we should have that credit, and that game should be replayed. And Lachie Neale, so-called injury, how could he play? It's not injury. I reckon he was pulling our leg, so to speak. He did not have a proper injury, because otherwise he wouldn't have been on that field today. Meant to be 6 weeks plus. That is bullshit. I am not accepting this as a sovereign citizen at all, and I think we should all rise up and just demand a replay so we can collect our thoughts and actually win like we should be winning, because this is not acceptable today. This is not the Geelong way. We do not ever get beaten like that. There is something, the footy guys have been evil today. The footy guys are being evil upon us. We've done nothing wrong but being successful and elite. And look at me, I'm lit. I mean, I'm as lit as you can get. So everything's going right, and all our world's aligned, and today they did something evil is happening in the air. And it wasn't us playing badly. That was just the worst ever. I am a sovereign citizen of this country, and I don't play by the AFL grand finals rules system, and I do not accept this loss. I think is our game to be had.
That's how I feel when I watch that clip. That is, to continue to lean into Happy Gilmore-isms, one of the most insanely idiotic things that I've ever heard in my life. And as I said, this is not a video game, Troy. You don't get to just have a replay whenever it suits you, whenever something doesn't go your way. No, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you try and make it better the following year. We've seen great scenarios of this over the years. In fact, Brisbane represents that. Like they fumbled it against Collingwood, rebounded against Sydney the next year. Talking about Sydney, you think about Sydney and West Coast and what they did in the early 2000s. Like, fuck, it's just insane. Absolutely idiotic behavior of the highest level. Troy, I hope, and like, there's some people saying some really disrespectful things to Troy at the moment. And to those people, just pull your head in. But Troy, please, if you haven't already ripped this down, please rip it down. You don't need to represent yourself this way. And sure as hell, all of us other Geelong supporters do not want to be represented in any way, shape, or form by someone like you speaking like this either. And let me indulge your sovereign citizen stuff for a second. That's not the rules you play by. It is the rules that the 23 Geelong players who signed up and played on that grand final, they're the rules that they play by. So you can go and live off in fantasy land if you want, dreaming of an opportunity to get another crack at this. But that's not how it's going to go. It's not how it goes. That's not how the real world works. So Troy, you're the Nuff of the week this week. The final Nuff of 2025. In the final episode of 2025, I've turned on one of my own. Is what it is, right? Please, Troy, be better. And to all Cats fans, let's make sure we bring a bit of common sense to this. There's plenty of frustration, disappointment, anger, concern, upset off the back of this grand final loss. And, perhaps that's all justified. But let's bring a cool, calm, rational head to the scenario, because that's how we get better, not through behavior like what we've just seen. So that's where we'll wrap things up for this entry of Nuff of the Week, the final one for the year. Stay tuned for a Nuff of the Year, which will probably fold into the Hoopies in due course. We'll work out when the Hoopies are going to go to air, essentially our best and fairest that we'll run, our award show for the Geelong community. So we'll talk about Nuff of the Year in due course, and maybe Catman has made an extremely late surge and pinched it. We'll have to wait and see. But thank you all for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the Hoops Crew on YouTube, and check out all of our other content. It's far more rational than what we've just watched. There's myself doing the Paul James show, lots of breakout clips like this. You've got the chaps doing the Chaps Chat Cats and their reviews and previews of AFLW and AFL men's games. You've got Ben with post-game live and lots of other awesome content as well. So check it all out on the YouTube channel. If you like it, toss a like the video's way and subscribe to the channel so you get more of it. If you enjoy that, consider checking out our Patreon as well, patreon.com/thehoopscrew. We you can subscribe for 7 days and get free access to all of the early access, extended, and exclusive content we provide. And if you like it, it costs only $5 a month to continue to get that content delivered directly to your email inbox. You'll find me on socials at Paul James Games. That's Twitter, Blue Sky, and Instagram. The Hoops Crew is at The Hoops Crew. And until next time, remain Geelong strong, everyone. Catman, do better. I'll see you later, everyone. Go Cats.